There are three common mistakes that even veteran long-time investors make. So use this as a quick little checklist for these three things to see how are you doing on this, right? So the first one is they don't sell. I mean, there's one thing about being buy and hold investors. If you're a buy and hold investor, you want to buy and hold for long periods of time. And that's perfectly good and perfectly fine, especially if you're looking at broad-based index mutual funds or exchange-traded funds, that's good. But if you've got individual holdings or if you've got some stuff and you're like, I'm never going to sell it, you might want to look at that because there are times when you do want to sell. Things change or whatever. Maybe if you have a stock and the leadership changes or what they offer to their customers in terms of services and products changes. Something changes in the market. You know, it's okay to be a buy and hold investor for a long time, but also that means that at some point you sell. Some point you might sell just because you need the money because you've reached your goal, right? You're retired, you've reached financial independence, or you're saving for a home, whatever it might be, or investing for a home. But other times it's because things are changing, and so you want to be able to sell, not actively day trade or something like that, unless that's your profession. But if you're a buy and hold investor, you also have to think each time, do I want to keep this item that I've invested in? That's where looking at your overall portfolio, maybe every quarter or certainly twice a year is good to just ask yourself, should I keep hanging on this or should I sell at this point? Number two, for veteran investors, is confidence, and they become overconfident. Especially in bull markets where the whole market is rising, and we're all guilty of this. I'm guilty of this. We're like, oh, look how good I'm doing. I'm so smart. I'm a smart investor, right? Well, it might not be you're a smart investor necessarily. There's a part of that, but it might be because just the rising tide lifts all boats, right? So the overall market is really increasing at a good rapid rate. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're a smart investor. It just means that you're smart by being in the market and staying in the market, but you might still need to, look at that overconfidence and not be thinking like, oh, this is how well I'm doing because it's all about me. I've known folks who would say, when we had the bull market between the Great Recession up until 2022, and a lot of them were trading options and doing things like that. I think, oh, look how well I'm doing, look how well I'm doing. And then they got out of the options trading because in 2022, when the whole market went down, they found that it wasn't necessarily related to their skill in trading options, like stock options. It was more related to the overall market progress. And that's okay too if you're buying, holding and all that too. But if you're doing some more active trading, ask yourself, am I overconfident? Is the market doing this? Or am I really knowledgeable and am I really making this happen? And then the third one here is that can happen with long-time investors because they have a lot of, as they get experience. And the key part of having a lot of experience is to have a lot of mistakes. You're going to have a lot of successes, but you're going to have a lot of mistakes. And the key to that is learning from your mistakes. So the third one is not learning or do not learn from their mistakes. So if you make a mistake, you don't want to make it again, right? You took that, you heard somebody say something nice about a stock, so you jumped in on it, right? Or this is brand new alternate coin cryptocurrency nobody's ever heard of, and you thought, oh, I'm going to make a fortune, I'll put money in there, and of course, let's say it didn't turn out, right? So you want to learn from your mistakes so you don't repeat the mistakes. So that's something that can be common where folks, they forget over time some of the mistakes they made. I remember some mistakes I made 30 years ago that are clear in my mind, that I did some videos on it too as well. If you were to say, well, what are some of your top 2 or 3 mistakes? I would tell you things from 30 years ago, buying this stock because I saw something in a magazine. Remember magazines? And I saw it in a magazine. I'm like, oh, that sounds good. Didn't understand anything about the company, but I read a magazine article and I invested. Just like if you watch something on a financial news station, they say, buy this, and you buy it, and you're like, not even sure what you're buying. Well, that's a mistake, and that's on you, and you want to learn from that.